So recently, my wife and I had a conversation about Greek organizations, Freemasons, and Christianity. And it was brought up because that young man wound up dying after going through the hazing process at Southern University. And he's not the first person to die through hazing from a Greek organization. And I'm pretty sure, given the circumstances, he won't be the last. But at the same time, it kind of sparked a conversation about, can you be a participant in those organizations wholeheartedly and serve God? And though I know I'm going to upset a lot of people when I say this, I do not believe that you can serve and be a part or a member of those fraternities, those organizations, and those things with the secrecy, with the pledging, with the contracts, or whatever it is y'all do, and serve God wholeheartedly. Now, that's not me saying that there aren't any believers that are in those organizations, but what I mean is it will potentially get you to a crossroads where you have to choose between your faith and what God has said you should and shouldn't do versus what the organization is allowing you to be able to do. And I realize a lot of these organizations do great things in the community, but at the same time, we have to understand that the enemy doesn't wholeheartedly just bring the most evil plan dripping with blood and hand it to us so we can automatically recognize that it's evil. It always starts with a subtle deviation, and those subtle deviations knock you askew just enough to throw everything out of balance and get everything out of order. If you think about the Garden of Eden, if the enemy had attempted Eve with cursing God to his face or stabbing and killing her husband, it would have been an easy, no, I'm not going to do that, because it's an obvious deviation. But something as subtle as, are you sure you'll die? Or you'll be like God in the sense of, hey, just eat the apple. It's something small that wound up skewing everything and throwing everything off balance. In my experience, I've seen a lot of people who were in frats and sororities denounce those frats and sororities, or they just kind of phase out of participation in those frats and sororities because they are eventually overcome with the notion that they need to serve God wholeheartedly. I've seen that happen a ton. I've also seen the opposite, where it seems like these people literally worship the letters that they have from the time that they join the organization until the time we put them in the ground. So while my personal belief is that you can't serve both and you can't participate in both and be fully enthralled in both, I don't know enough about the Greek organizations in terms of their history and in terms of, what they all lead back to. I've heard some people say that each of the organizations has a deity associated with it. I don't know. I think that is something that if you're going to join any organization, whether it is Greek, whether it's the Freemasons, whether it's the Shriners, any of that, do your history, learn as much as you can before you participate and before you sign over any type of pledge or any type of oath or any type of contract to be a participant in those organizations, because at that point you are putting another master in the same realm as God. Ultimately, it's between you and God and the conviction you have in your heart whether or not you feel like you're doing the right thing or if you're doing the wrong thing when it comes to participation.